So, in the main event for the Universal Championship of Night 2, WWE saw what I believe to be one of the best main events of WrestleMania we've seen in a while. It had a big fight feel going in, and as the bell rang, all we saw from then on was action, storytelling, and true wrestling galore. Or let's talk about the match. Early, we saw Jey Uso interfere on the outside before being taken out by Edge, who DDT'd him on the steel steps. Then we saw combos of all the different wrestlers involved in the match. We saw Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. We saw Edge versus Roman Reigns. Edge versus Daniel Bryan. And then so it was just action from beginning to end, and like there was no pausing, which I loved about this match. Then we obviously saw the spots where Daniel Bryan gets power bombed through a table, while Roman Reigns, who at that point was standing up on some steel steps, immediately gets speared by Edge on the floor on the outside. And then we saw Edge go for a chair shot on Roman before. He went for a chair shot, and then the part of the chair broke off, and we saw what I believe to be the best spot of the match right here.
Yes.
The double crossface.
God.
Oh, it was perfect. Edge had Roman in a crossface, and as Roman's about to tap Edge, the returning Edge, about to become the new WWE Universal Champion in the main event of WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan comes back into the ring, stops his hand, and then he puts him into a label lock. So Roman literally has nowhere to go. And then you see them headbutting each other, Edge and Daniel Bryan headbutting each other into oblivion. Like, I went into this match like on the stream saying that in this match, wrestling is not a work. Wrestling is 100% real. Everyone in the ring, whether it be Roman, Edge, Daniel Bryan, treat it like the ring psychology, the acting, whatever you want to call it, was on point. We all felt like they wanted it. Each person in this match wanted it. And then it was on full display. The conclusion of the match, Edge went out and he did a concerto on Daniel Bryan. He went to go do one on Roman Reigns, but Jey Uso returned, comes back, attacks Edge, allows for Roman to pick up a spear, and then Roman, the tribal chief, lifted up Edge and put him on top of Daniel Bryan, and he pinned both men. The 1, 2, 3 to retain the Universal Championship. I'm going to get into what I believe this match was, but Trevor, I am so excited to hear what you had to say because this was amazing.
I remember last week and the weeks leading up to it, you were team Daniel Bryan. Team Daniel Bryan. You wanted him to win. You thought he should win. You thought that it would make it believable that he should win. I also agree, but also was on Team Edge and have been on Team Edge. I like Edge. But I think we both mentioned something briefly that if Roman Reigns won, he'd be one of the most over heels in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what just happened. What you just saw is probably the best heel. I mean, just down dirty heel win that championship. And honestly, I couldn't be more proud of it. Like I thought that wasn't an ending that no one was thinking was going to happen. They was expecting Edge or they were expecting Daniel Bryan because typically your WrestleMania winner, your Royal Rumble winner goes WrestleMania, he wins the belt. He or she wins the belt. That's pretty much how it happened. But there have been times in history. Oscar's one of them. Shawn Michaels was one of them. The list goes on. Where there have been people that have gone to WrestleMania and not won that belt. And sometimes it didn't work as well. Sometimes the fans weren't behind it as much. This worked. You even heard a little pop after he won it. I mean, half of it was boos, but you still heard that pop. This was a masterpiece. The storytelling was great. The move selection, the just back and forth was amazing. The ending, to me, is what put the cherry on top. But I want to know your opinion. I have to hear your opinion about this.
I said last week when we were previewing WrestleMania that any one of these three could win, and you'd probably be satisfied with the outcome. Right. As soon as Roman Reigns won, I was, I like, it was weird because I was fine. Yeah, like,
Right.
I was just like, oh wow, it was an oh wow type of moment. It wasn't like a oh my god kind of like heel heat kind of moment. It was like I was like, all right, these three went out there, had a great match, and Roman looked dominant, and he dominated at the end by pinning both men.
Right.
And I think, look, for WWE, this was probably the right decision.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
again, I'm willing to admit when I was wrong about like about things in wrestling. I was wrong about this in part, but man, this was just a great main event. Like
It
I
was. It
said that
really was.
this might be. I actually think this is better than the WrestleMania 30 triple threat. That's no cap right here. Like this is the best main event we've seen in a long, long time, and it had the star power. All three of these people were over. WrestleMania 30, the only person in the match who was over was Daniel Bryan. If we're
Yeah.
being honest, nobody else was over. This honestly, the level of how these three were over was kind of reminiscent of the WrestleMania 20 main event. If we're talking about triple threats, that was Benoit versus Michaels versus Triple H. All
Yeah.
three of those people were over. The underdog didn't win here, but man, this was just it felt real. Like I said, it felt real. And my only thing about this match was I think they could have gone longer. I think this match
Yeah.
was 22 minutes. I think, and it didn't have to be that much longer. Like, I think maybe maximum 5 more minutes. If this match had 5 more minutes to kind of draw out the suspense a little more, man, that ending would have it would have hit you like in the perfect way. And I'm not saying this match was in many ways perfect. Like,
Right.
I think this spot right here is going to be. This was a huge WrestleMania moment. 20 years from now, this is going to be like a top 5 WrestleMania moments
Oh,
ever.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
did just. You saw all three men on full display. Daniel Bryan before the match was grinning from ear to ear. You could see it, man. He was excited for it. Edge was elated. I've never seen Edge so pumped up. That's saying something. To
Yeah.
see fans be back at WrestleMania, and he was most like over. Right, he got the biggest pop of both nights. Roman came out, and again, he wasn't universally panned. People like this Roman Reigns because he shows up, kicks ass, and leaves. And you know what? He did that here. Big ups to WWE. They finished WrestleMania on a great note, and in a lot of ways, man, we were right. This main event, it was destined to succeed.
Yeah.
This was just like I said. All three of these guys were over. This was I can't say anymore. I feel like I've over the past like 3 days, I've just said everything I can say about like WrestleMania and this match. But this was just it was great. It was great. 5 years from now, we're going to be looking at this as a top 5 main event of WrestleMania. Book it, brother.
Like you said, I feel like I felt there were really no weak points in this match. I feel like the weakest part probably was the ending. I feel like it could have been better, but that ending was good too. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
going on a little longer and built a little bit, but like honestly, this ending was satisfying too. Like the whole thing was satisfying. But if when I'm critiquing it, I would have liked to see it 5 more minutes longer.
Yeah. I think they because it kind of came to like yeah, it felt like it was going home a little quick. And I'm not saying like again, it was a great match, but 5 more minutes to draw out the suspense a little bit would have been, I think, ideal. But regardless, great job. I don't say this a lot about WWE, but at least in the main events, because night 2 was ugly at some points. It was
Yeah.
really boring for the most part, but man, this main event, it saved night 2. It made this show overall WrestleMania 37 just great. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.